An investigation is underway after a tourist boat ran aground near Akaroa over the weekend, forcing the rescue of more than 40 passengers and crew. The vessel was carrying more than 2,000 litres of diesel and it capsized at Palm Valley Bay. All its fuel is now believed to have leaked into the marine reserve. Louise Cook is a chief investigator at accidents and chief investigator of accidents at the Transport Accident Investment Commission. Good morning.
Morena, Ryan.
Good to have you on the program. So where's the vessel now? What's going on?
So the Commission isn't involved at the moment in the recovery of the wreckage. That's been coordinated by with the operator and Environment Canterbury. What the Commission is involved in is collecting all the available evidence that we can, particularly focusing on evidence that will not be available or starts to diminish with time. So we're looking to speak to people, any witnesses, anybody who was on the vessel, and gather as much information as we can.
What did they tell you happened?
Well, that's all part of the process. So they'll collect all the evidence off interviews. They'll also collect other evidence like electronic information and data, and anything that can be salvaged from the vessel that will help inform our inquiry. So our inquiry is a non-blame inquiry. It's systemic. So we go right up to the systemic safety issues with the intention of making recommendations to prevent anything like this happening again.
Okay, but they've obviously spoken to you. What did they say happened? People want to know.
Yes, well, that will all form part of our inquiry. We can't release...
I know, but can you tell us now what they've said?
No, we can't. I'm sorry.
Is that illegal?
It is illegal. Any information we get is a protected record. So it just forms part of our inquiry, and the results of our inquiry are made public. We produce a report which details our findings and our recommendations.
So until you have a final report, anything anyone has told you stays locked and sealed, and it's illegal for you to divulge that?
Yes, it is an offence for protected records to be made public. That's right. For example, though, if we were to identify something that was particularly urgent, we can release an urgent safety recommendation to address any immediate concerns. But otherwise, yes, we wouldn't release what people are telling us.
Okay, so if it had hit a big rock and people didn't know there was a rock there, you could tell us?
Not quite. Well, I mean, obviously, telling people that the rock is there is possibly not what the Commission does. So we really do look at systemic safety issues. So, for example, part of the inquiry will look at why the vessel was where it was in the first place, what was going on, how was it being navigated, what's the design of the vessel, what's the maintenance of the vessel, how is fatigue dealt with. So we look at those sort of higher level systemic issues.
But if there's a big rock that they've hit, would that not be a bit of a factor as to how it crashed?
But why did it come across that rock? Why was a passenger ferry in a location where a rock was known? So often these areas are mapped and surveyed anyway, so there are quite detailed survey maps available to mariners. So and that's something that the harbour master is more likely to deal with. If there was an immediate navigational hazard, the harbour master and Environment Canterbury will address that concern.
Okay. Have you identified any issues with driver fatigue or driver error or control issues, mechanical issues with the vessel?
Yeah, at this stage, we're at such early stage of the inquiry, so we're gathering all the evidence, and certainly our lines of inquiry do look at those issues. We do look at fatigue, we do look at maintenance of the vessel, we look at how it's being navigated, the design. It's a very detailed inquiry.
Sounds very detailed indeed. Is there a black box like in planes?
So vessels don't necessarily have a black box, but they often have what's called a voyage data recorder, a VDR. And also they have other equipment on board, navigational equipment. Sometimes they have what's called an AIS, and that again holds data in relation to where the vessel is, where it's been tracking. The vessels have a number of different sources of information. Obviously, because of the state of this vessel being partially submerged, we certainly have concerns about the ability of that evidence to be extracted now that it's been in salt water.
Okay, I appreciate your time this morning, Louise. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks,
Louise Cook
Ryan.
is Chief Investigator of the Accidents. Louise Cook is Chief Investigator of Accidents at the Transport Accident Investigation Commission.